Welcome back to Meet the Locals. We are here
up?
with another special guest. I'm Shay, as always. And who are we here with today?
I'm Felipe with Felipe's 109 here on the southeast side of Colorado Springs.
And we are very happy to have you. Are you from Colorado Springs originally?
Yep, born and raised.
Okay. So if this isn't too personal, approximately
Go
how
ahead,
long
go
have you
ahead.
been here?
30 years.
Yeah. So
30 years in the city,
Okay.
grinding.
Always on the southeast side?
Yeah, southeast side, southwest,
Yeah.
Grew up by Harrison,
Okay.
World Arena type of area. Then I got a restaurant over there by Sierra High School, if anyone kind
Okay.
of knows that. Jet Wing, and then South Academy, and then Hancock.
Yes, please plug it. Yes, please.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
You know.
So I was taking a look at your Instagram a little bit, and I seen we have Felipe's 109
Yep.
taco burgers.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell me a little bit about what a taco burger is?
Yeah. So I don't want to give you guys too much of the story, but back in Vietnam, like 1992, when I was born, I was actually there's this place in New Mexico called Bob's Burgers and Blake's Burgers. It's kind of a mixture of both of those, but a taco burger is a hard shell taco, a half a hamburger patty, cheese, smothered green chili, lettuce, and tomato, and that's a taco burger.
Yes, and that sounds absolutely delicious.
Yep.
So when did you first open up your restaurant?
Well, before we were a restaurant, we were a food truck first in 2020. And then 2021, January 31st was our first day of sale as a restaurant. And we've just been going ever since then.
Okay. So 2020 would place you right probably at the onset of COVID.
Yep.
So what
yep.
was it like starting a business in the height of COVID?
Well, like for the restaurant, it was still tough. And then for the food truck, I felt like it was still tough. Like there was no ease to any of it, you know. When I got the food truck, I already bought it. COVID started closing things down, and so I already had it, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like I just have a truck, you know.
Right.
And I thought about it, and all these restaurants were starting to close. I heard that these restaurants were going to think about starting closing down. Government poll list was talking about it, and I was like, you know what, like we already got it, might as well keep on going,
Right.
you know. And so we just May. What holiday is that? May Labor Day? Is that Labor Day?
I think that's around Memorial Day,
Day.
because Labor Day's in the fall. I
Yeah.
think.
So Memorial Day was our first day of sale as a food truck. We was over there on Circle and Lake, right
Okay.
there by the Carl's Jr. and 7-Eleven. We just posted up, and we were like, all right, we're open. Let's see how this goes. I didn't know anything about social media, nothing. I was just like, all right, we're just gonna wing it. We're gonna do it.
Yeah. It seems like COVID brought to life the entrepreneurial spirit in a lot of people, especially after
Yep.
sitting at home for
Yep.
so long. So what are some of the main differences between having a food truck versus a storefront?
So the food truck, like some food trucks just want to stay in one local place, and that's good and all. But if you want to reach more people, I think it's good that you continue to find places that are looking for food trucks and be just moving all around all the time. And then that's good. Like if you're like if you're not growing a family like I was, you know, then it's probably something that you could already do. Or if you have teenagers, the teenagers jump in the food truck, you're good to go. You don't really have to pay for much labor. You know, you got that family discount, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But for the most part, yeah, it was just the difficulty of driving all the way around. I didn't buy like the most fancy food truck out there. I found one, and I negotiated with the guy who already owned it, and we started rocking.
Yeah,
That's how it
and the
works.
rest was history.
Yep.
Yeah, so it seems like you're very much invested in the Southeast. So
Yep.
what kind of created that bond for you?
Yeah, so I went to high school at Sierra High School. I was supposed to go to Harrison, ended up going to Sierra High School. I know a lot of people from both sides.
Yeah.
You know, I see someone in the background throwing a thumbs down. I see you.
I'm a Mitchell kid, so.
Mitchell.
I know.
Oh, man. So, I ended up going to Sierra High School, and then I moved to Fountain. I was a firefighter previously.
Wow.
And that's kind of like what really started the entrepreneurship for everything to, like, move in motion. Because I was working, some days I'd work like 3 days on, and then I'd have like 4 or 5 days off sometimes, or 2 days on, 4 days off, or just whatever my schedule was, you know. And so I started just picking up more gigs. I was doing construction before that, so I was already kind of handy.
Right.
I was on the southeast side of Colorado Springs. There was like this place called Al Soup, or it wasn't called Al Soup. Al Soup was already there. It was called It was like a Chinese restaurant. It was called like Ladle Soup or something like that. I can't.
I feel like I know what you're talking about.
Well, anyway, it turned into George's Burgers and Gyros.
Okay.
Yep. And then after that, it like closed down for like 3 or 4 years. So I had the food truck. We were supposed to go into someone's like business model that they had, where they had a couple of other restaurants in there. They liked how we presented our food. We applied, and then I think our visions didn't meet. And so that was okay, and they still give us guidance because they're known in the city, which I'm super grateful for. And then, I was just calling. I was gonna go on B Street. There's this Subway that used to be on B Street, and it wasn't there anymore. So I was like gonna scratch the whole plan. I didn't do that. I'm grateful for not doing that, And I saw that building, and I was like, hey, like maybe I could get in contact with the owner.
Yeah.
So I ended up knowing someone who knew about the property. So I gave this guy a call, and then he gave me his phone number. I called him, and then in like 3 weeks, we like settled the deal. I said, hey, I'm selling my food truck, moving into a restaurant. I got a following now. It was only like 200
But that's
people,
decent.
something,
yeah.
200, 500, And so I gave them a business plan right away. They accepted it. They asked what I could do. And so I said, hey, this is what I think I could do on rent. They accepted it, and I was like, dang. Maybe I should have tried to go lower.
Right. Yeah.
And so they took it. I'm super grateful for what we do have, and I didn't get any contractors to build it. I did it all myself, me and my wife and my sister and my mom. It was a family ordeal, and I'm super grateful for all of them.
Yeah.
And we just tore everything up, tore all kinds of jack up, and then painted everything and called it good.
Yeah. So you have a pretty diverse background from what you've already told me. Firefighting, construction. What finally, or maybe my question is, have you always had a passion for food?
Yeah. So my grandma went to school for culinary arts. She graduated at PPCC, which is now Pikes Peak State College now, right? And so she graduated doing that. I used to slang burritos on the side like at 5 o'clock in the morning, out there at the transfer stations. Some of them are like, I don't know if you know who Best Way is, or it's GFL now. Okay. So before it was GFL, it was Best Way, and we made it like a routine to like, maybe if we could get all the trash guys, the guys that dump all our trash, because they're up like at 5 or 6 in the morning. So if we could just get them first, then maybe it'll like start popping off. And then it started dead, and then we started going to community centers, and then we started to go like to the construction sites, and then like, so we started doing that. But then my grandpa called me because I started slipping. I started sleeping in a little bit more. I got a little bit lazy.
Yeah, a little comfortable.
A little comfortable. Yeah. My grandpa was like, we're a little bit older, so don't be putting your grandma through this. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it. If you're not, then don't bring us with, because you're going to mess everything up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So then I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, I probably should get like a real job. It was like wintertime at the time, so construction wasn't really going on, And then, so then I was like, all right, it's time to do it again. Here we are.
Yeah, that is actually, it's really, I find it personally inspiring how much of initiative you have on your own, how much drive you have on your own to redo the interior of your restaurant on your own, and to like realize that you don't have to have the nicest thing starting out because you're building towards something else. Is something that really
of course
super resonates with me. What was it like building your family while you're also building your business?
It's tough. It's tough to balance both sometimes, but when you get together and you're just kind of like, okay, what is the end result? And then in those hard times, we got to remind each other, like, okay, what's our end result? Like, what is our goal here? Like, is our mission to fight right now, or is our mission to succeed in what we're trying to accomplish, And of course, we've had some fights on the food truck. We've had some fights at home. But as you grow as a food truck, as you grow as a restaurant, as you grow as a business, you got to put some of those things aside, establish, how systems work, and it's been great. It's been super great, growing my family at the same time. So that's why one of the reasons why we stopped doing the food truck was because I had my third baby, what is that, October 9th, 2020. And I was like, all right,
wow.
All right, I got to like, my wife can't just be chasing me all the way around the city, trying to see what I'm doing, how I'm doing, where I'm going,
right.
And then I was just like, I got to stay, like, stable. We were getting really burnt just because, like, when you're doing a food truck, it is not for the lighthearted.
Right.
Like, if you are not dedicated to waking up early, staying up late, and then only getting a couple of hours of sleep because the work comes when the work comes. It's not, it wasn't stable,
right?
You know,
Like
especially during COVID. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and so like I was calling people, I was texting people. Some people would be like, hey, can you, I had Amazon. They were like, hey, we're looking for a food truck now because everything is closed down. Everyone needs lunch, but our lunchtime is 7:00 in the morning. So can you guys do breakfast? And I was like, yeah, no doubt I could do breakfast. They're like, what you serve? And I was like, I don't know what we serve, you know, like, what you looking for? And he's like, do you do burritos? And I was like, do we do burritos? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah, we do burritos, you know? And then like, they were like, what else do you got? And I was like, what else do you want? He's like, you got bacon? I was like, of course I got bacon.
Yeah.
You got sausage? I was like, of course I got sausage. What about to drink? I was like, what do you guys like to drink? And he was like, maybe some sodas. I was like, what kind? He was like, maybe a little Coke or Pepsi. I was like, I serve that all the time. You know, so I had to like fake it till I make it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then there we go. Early in the morning, by like 5:00, I was leaving my house in the morning. So then by like, that means I was up by like 3:00 in the morning. And then sometimes if my event went late the day before, because that was like that Friday, I would have to stay up, prep everything, make everything. And then I wouldn't go to bed until like 1:00. So then I would take like a 2-hour nap. And then I would get back up so that way I could like cook everything or try to get everything, get ready, started for the food truck. Then my truck was like, it was like probably one of the fastest trucks out there. We probably hit about 35 miles an hour. So it took us about 45 minutes to get to where we needed to go, you know? Yeah. So like by the time it was like, if I wasn't leaving my house by like 5:15, then I was late. I would just miss everyone's lunch. So I just made sure I wasn't late. So we just do that. Yeah. We did that. And then so I'd be like, all right, we're good for the day from Amazon. And they'd be like, all right. I'm like, let's go home. They're like, all right, let's go. And then someone would call me and be like, hey, this food truck ditched out. Can you make it? And I'm like, what time? You know? And they're like, yo, I need you by like noon. And I was like, and it would be like 10:00. And I'd be like, all right. And so I'd look in the fridge for the food truck, you know? And then I'd be like, all right, what do I have at my commissary kitchen? And I'd be like, yeah, we could be there. And then I'll just hit it. I'll just tell my sister, because my sister was working with us, you know, and I was like, yo, you down? And she was like, let's get it. Yeah. So then we just go until like 12 and then like 2 or 3. And then we'd get back to the commissary, trying to get prepped for the day. And someone would be like, yo, we need someone here at like 7:00 for dinner. Can you do it? And we'd be like, yeah. We could do it. Yeah. So then it was just a daily routine every day on the grind. The mission was just like, no one's going to outwork us. That was just our mentality. Like, it's like do or die because we're in COVID. No one's working. People do want food still, but at the same time, the restaurants weren't open. Exactly. And I just was like, I need, like, this is do or die. So we just going to make this work. We're going to work when it's time to work. Or we going to die trying. Yeah. And now we got a restaurant.
I feel like
I'm talking fast. Am I talking fast?
I mean, I talk fast also, so I would be the perfect person to ask. I think your durability and your adaptability are very evident in your work ethic. Like, as an event planner myself, and I don't even do the food, so I understand how much it is or how much lift it takes to be able to make things happen in a short period of time like that. Has that something that's been consistent throughout your life, or is that something that you acquired as an adult?
It's been pretty consistent throughout my life. By the way, thank you for always trying to like uplift us. You don't have to be so nice to us. It's okay. Thank you. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, my whole life, you know, both sides of my family, they're hard workers, you know. In New Mexico, they're all iron workers. They're part of the union out there. Down here, my grandpa did construction. My other grandpa did landscaping, construction still, you know. And every time there was a time to work, it was like you just didn't have an option. Like, hey, do you want to work today? Like, I'm like 10 years old, you know. My mom's like, all right, we got to pull up all the weeds. And then after we pull up all the weeds, then we're going to dig everything up. Then your grandpa's going to come here. He's going to pour the concrete. And then we're going to build a fence. And then as you just grow up, like, now I would say that I would say 50% of homes probably don't have a dad. That's just not an excuse for me, you know. And growing up, I didn't have one, which was okay. So I had to take part in like always building something, always trying to make things work, always trying to figure it all out. And I'm super grateful for my past, because if it wasn't for my past, I wouldn't be where I am today. Amen. And so I'm like, it just work is work. Yeah. You know. And then I ended up working with these guys Holcomb Masonry, which is brick, block, or stone, and they really put like the work ethic in me. Like I had work ethic when I was a kid, but they taught me how to be a man. They taught me how to just keep on working while you're crying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And they've really instilled a lot into me. And so just moving forward of going from masonry, going to firefighting, going to just building my own things, it was like you just show up to work. Sometimes, but no one really cared about sickness at the time. So it was like, if you're sick, you're coming to work, you know? I'm sorry you're sick, but you're going to have to provide for your family.
Right.
So if you don't show up to work, you ain't going to provide for your family. That's on you. You know, some people just call out because of a cough, cold, simple cold. And that's just not our mentality. Like, you're just going to keep it going.
Yeah. I mean, when there's work to be done, it has to get done.
Yeah, it has to get done.
You know? What is it like, if this isn't too personal?
Keep it going. You're good.
Building your family when you didn't have someone to model that behavior for you?
I would say I always had someone to model that behavior. Okay. And I would say this is because if you had a dad in your home, you knew what to do, right? If you didn't have a dad in your home, you knew what not to do, right? So I wanted to model my life to know what I wanted to do in my family because I didn't have one.
Yeah.
And my relationship with my dad is grown, and we've been able to communicate, and we've been working together, and like that relationship now is starting to grow, and that's exciting, you know? And so it's okay that I didn't have a father in my home because like the Holcombs, they stepped into my life as a role model in my life and was like, hey, man, this is what you got to do for your family. Hey, man, this is what you got to do about bills. Hey, man, this is what you got to do, you know, about your car issues, about your house issue or whatever it is. You know, there was always somebody who may have not have been my dad, but been able to be a mentor and a role model in my life. And not everybody's going to give you all the meat that you need, you know. You're just going to take the meat, spit out the bones from everybody, you know, because no person is perfect. And you're going to create the model and the person that you want to be, hopefully one day, you know. Yeah.
What do you value most out of those mentorships? Or what are some of the most valuable lessons you've attained?
The valuable lessons I've attained? That's a pretty good one. I would say that no one is perfect, to love always, and to care for those who are hurting, because hurt people, you know, and I don't want to be that person to hurt someone else. Now, that's inevitable. Everybody's going to hurt everybody at some point,
right?
You know, and so I want to be able to love everybody as God would love everybody, you know, and show the light of Jesus Christ through my life, and hopefully they'll be able to see that in their lives and want to model who Jesus was. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just a vessel. I'm just somebody here who God has called to do something for him. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully when I die, God will say, come home, you know, my good and faithful servant, enter into the kingdom of heaven. I hope one day that God will allow someone like me to make it into heaven.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm no by means a priest or a pastor, but you definitely have a very genuine energy about you, and I think that it speaks a lot to the kind of character that you have. What is it like? What is your favorite part, then, I guess I would ask, about having your business on the south side of town?
The favorite part about it is the south side people, man. We get everybody that comes. We get people who come from up north, all the way from down south. We get homeless people that come in, and we love all of that. We want the diversity of everybody in our community, from everywhere. It doesn't matter. It just, does that make any sense?
No, that's what community is.
It just doesn't matter. If you're hungry, I will feed you. If you're hungry, I will feed you. I didn't ask about the price.
Right.
If you are hungry, I will feed you. And I believe that's what Jesus would do, and I believe that's what Jesus did with the loaves of breads and the fish, you know? And so if you're hungry, I will feed you.
Yeah.
And we will figure something out.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm there to serve.
You seem super grounded. What does community mean to you?
Community is a gathering of people that inspire the same people to do better for themselves. Okay. I don't know what that means. I just came with that right now.
I mean, that's a pretty good definition for on the spot. That's pretty good.
I got to figure it out. I don't know. I'm still figuring it out.
It's a working definition. Yeah. Absolutely. Community changes all the time. Yep. I think that speaks to what you're talking about with diversity. So, I mean, there's no right answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I hope that one day I'll be able to speak in front of the city council, and they'll be able to hear what I'm saying. Not just like, oh, you're another guy coming in, but like, hey, like, I want people to value what hopefully my opinion will be
Yeah.
later in life, that I can lead the next generation, that you can lead the next generation of podcasters here in Colorado Springs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, everyone has a beginning. No perfect person doesn't have a past.
Right.
You know, and we're all a work in progress. Our businesses are all a work in progress, and we're all here to motivate each other. I don't believe in tearing one business down because of my business. Like, my business isn't all the best business here. Like, there's like a million and a half people in Colorado Springs continuing to grow to reach that or more. And you're telling me that there's not enough room to share? I just don't see it. You know, so I want to be able to build everybody up.
Exactly.
You know,
that's what capitalism is supposed to do. Theoretically, that's how it's supposed to go. Man, so if you had to give 3 pieces of advice to somebody that wanted to start a business on the Southeast side, what would you tell them?
I would say 4 things. All right. Okay. First one is I got to throw a plug in. Thrive. I got to throw Thrive in there because they're going to be teaching people on the Southeast side of Colorado Springs how to start a business, how to care for the business, how to believe in your business, and all the things and necessity, all the tools, things you need to do to succeed. So that could be your 4th one, or that could be your first one. It doesn't really matter.
Your bookends.
Yeah. And then I would say the next thing would be is just be all in. Like, for years, there's people that are like, oh, I started a business in 2012, but they're literally in the same spot, right? And so it's like, what are you doing? Like,
right.
Like, you haven't done much since 2012. I'm not your judge. I'm not your maker. But you say you want to do all these things, but you haven't done them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Water that's not moving is stagnant, right? Stagnant water is bad,
Yeah.
So we always got to be like moving water, continuing to progress, continuing to move forward. And then once you do that, what did I say? I forgot.
Thrive.
Keep pushing. Yeah. Always looking for the end mission. I think people. I'm like scattered in the brain.
You're good.
I would say, after that, you don't need the best things to start. You just need the things that work.
Right.
That's it. You don't need, when I was going to start the food truck, I wanted to start the restaurant, and I was like, yo, give me like $200K ASAP. That just doesn't work for nobody who has no credibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it went from 200,000 to 100,000 to 50,000 to 25,000 to 15,000. I started with 15,000, unsecured loan, and that's how it works. You got to start somewhere, So don't think about having the mansion first. Think of it as your end goal, and then find all the little things it takes to build the mansion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that would be like my second thing. And then my third thing would be is just find the people that are trying to move forward with you. Right? There's a lot of leeches and a lot of crabs.
Yeah.
You're trying to get out the bucket, and they just going to get you out.
Pull you back down.
They're just going to pull you back down. The people that you need to be with are the people that are probably have bigger. This isn't towards you. This is towards anybody that has a bigger podcast than you. Those are the people you need to be with.
Yeah.
People that have a bigger restaurant than me, I need to be with those people. That doesn't mean you're not mentoring anybody below you. You need to find someone to pick someone up to take with you, and you need to find someone that's going to take them with you.
Yes.
You need both sides, and hey, some of those people that are saying they're going to be doing that, they ain't going to be doing it. It is what it is. They're just dreamers. They're just a figment of imagination until they put the work in. You're just gonna have to do it. Find the people that are above you, and roll with them.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head when you said that they were dreamers. When I don't remember who said this to me, but just the other day they said intention without action
Uh-huh.
is a dream.
Yeah, that's right. Tell them.
So, like,
Tell them.
I mean, if you can say that you have the aspirations to do these things all day long, but if you're not doing nothing about it, then that's all they are.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
no, that's real. That's real.
It is.
That's real.
That's what it is, you know. And then you still hang around those same people. Those same people are just going to take you down. Oh, man, just wait for me. Oh, man, I'm 5 minutes late. Oh, man, I got to do this. Eventually, you got to take care of yourself. You got to do what you got to do for you.
Yeah.
You know, those people who want to be with you, yo, we rolling at 5. That means they going to be there at 4:55 because they'll be there. And if you ain't there, I'm not waiting for you. I tell some people that all the time, like, yo, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I'm like, you could come with me. Okay, we could do the same thing. But this is when my bus is leaving.
Right.
So if you're not on the bus when I'm leaving, then you going to be left unless you catch another bus.
Yeah. And that's just how
I feel
it
like
goes.
that's tough. I feel like that's tough.
Some people may
know?
not want to hear that, but time waits for no man. Like,
Yeah.
they say that all the
Tell
time.
'em. Yep. Time waits for no man.
That's
yeah.
a fact.
Or maybe I'm just an impatient person. I don't know.
I've heard that too, so I can't say. I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Man, no, that's a word for sure.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Okay, well, those are pretty much the sum of all the questions that I had for you.
Thanks.
This is 1,000% my favorite thing that I do out of the million things that I do, because I love getting down or sitting down and having the opportunity to get to know people in the community, what they're passionate about, and build. I mean, I love it.
Go.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's amazing. So thank you very much
Thank
for your
you.
time.
I appreciate it. You know, what is this? The 719 locals?
Meet the locals. We're Meet the Locals.
We
There
on
we
Meet the
go.
Locals. Yeah, let's go.
Make sure you have some taco burgers.
Hey.